Hello everybody. Today I have a two-in-one video for you essentially. I'm doing a Q&A and a drawing video at the same time. I thought it'd be quite cool to kind of break up questions and stuff with a little bit of drawing, and today we're doing a Mizu themed art piece. Sorry this took a little while to get to you. As of recording this, it's been about a week since I asked you guys for your questions, but yeah, schedule's been a bit mad, so we're getting around to it now. You guys left me a bunch of questions and I'm really excited to go through and talk about Blue Eye Samurai because, I mean, obviously it was very, very popular at the time that it came out, but I feel like people moved on from it a little bit too quickly, and yeah, I wanted to basically go over some bits and bobs and discuss the show and break it down and talk about it a bit more, whilst drawing our beloved Mizu. Yeah, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going with the blue in the background. I've left this light off. Going with just the blue, nice chill blue background. I think it would work really well for this vid. Let's start with a question. There's a funny one here somewhere. I did see it. Oh, also, glasses. Hang on. Wouldn't be forgetting these now, huh? For a Mizu vid. No, no, no. Let me go with my favourite question first and foremost. One of you said Cassandra or Mizu. Listen, I'm not that obsessed with Cassandra, okay? I'm obsessed, but I'm not that obsessed. And it would be Mizu for me. Mizu over Cassandra. Not over Cassandra. Anyway, Mizu is above Cassandra for me. There is another question like this in here somewhere. I think you say rank these people. I might have to find it in a minute. Oh no, one of you says Mizu or Caitlin. Oh, that's tough. Mizu or Caitlin? I mean, as we're doing a Blue Eye Samurai video, I feel like I should say Mizu, but they're very similar. This is the thing, they're very similar characters. I don't think Mizu would have hit Vi. Would she? Would Mizu have done something so unspeakable? Who does more unspeakable things, Caitlin or Mizu? I don't know if it's Caitlin. One of you put, the question was Mizu or Caitlin, one of you put Vi. It's my final answer. You're not wrong. Hey, I just want all of them to meet. I'd love Mizu to meet Caitlin. That'd be really cool. I can't pick between Mizu or Caitlin. I love Caitlin because I love Kate and Vi and all that kind of stuff, but I can't pick. Mizu and Caitlin are both awesome characters. I can't pick between the two, I'm afraid. Okie dokie. Now let me show you. I did an initial sketch. And the reason for that is because I knew I was going to be answering questions and stuff. I didn't want to go into this video not having anything ready to go. So basically, it's a sketch of Mizu sword fighting with herself. I love that scene when she's younger and she's sort of learning to fight, and she's only like a little girl, and then you sort of see teenage Mizu, and then you see sort of young adult Mizu, and then you see adult Mizu. So I thought it'd be really cute to do a sort of like almost like an alternate universe or something, a bit like how Arcane did with episode 7, but almost can we create an image to show Mizu meeting with her younger self. And I basically did a loose sketch over an image of Mizu that I had downloaded from Google. Here's the thing, I'm good at like coming up with cartoon styles of stuff, but if I actually want to pay homage to a style of a show, it really helps me to be able to trace stuff, if I'm being honest with you. It also makes this a lot easier if I'm trying to answer questions and stuff. And then just did a loose sketch of young Mizu as well, there, wearing that sort of little gown that she's got on that's really, really cute. If you're new around here, I'll explain the glasses. This became a sort of thing on the channel. I wear these, like usually like this on my eyes, when I'm editing or I'm doing any sort of form of computer work, because they basically help me with like migraines and tension headaches. It became this thing where everyone was like, oh my god, it's like you're Mizu from Blue Eye Samurai. So let's start with a little bit of sketching. Let me just figure out where I'm going with this, and then we will crack on with some more questions. Mizu. Blue Eye Samurai. Yeah, I'm just looking for sort of shape dynamics, her build. Still can't get over that scene from episode 1 where she gets out of the hot spring. I can't believe they put that in episode 1, man. Just put her neck here, I think. We'll do the scarf, kind of blows this way. Like that. And then she's sort of, you need this sort of like triangular shape. But I think her shoulders are going to come forward a little bit more. Yeah, I sort of think there maybe. And it's not going to be perfectly in style. If I'm being honest with you, I can try my best, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it perfectly. So it's going to be Claudie's style, basically with a hint of Blue Spirit. That's the name of the animation studio. So I think her arm would come down there, thumb be wrapped around like that. Perfectly fine. That will extend up a little bit more here. Her arm here will sort of be down like that. sort of here, sticking out the front here. Sword is going to be slightly angular, and I need to like actually get an image of Mizu's sword because I got a rough idea of what it looks like, but I need to be able to go over it. I'm actually gonna, I think her arm would be sort of more flayed out like that almost actually. Yeah, I think the proportions aren't quite right. Like there, for example, it's way too long, but we'll just move this back in. And then I think torso-wise, she's got that sort of like outfit on, sort of like that as well. So we're going to be using a lot of blue tones for this, which is going to be really cool. This is all a bit loose. The good thing is with Mizu, right, is nothing's too tight-fitting, actually. Because her hands are quite detailed in the face, but everything else is actually quite loose. I think this might be a little bit easier for me in some ways than I was thinking, so this takes the pressure off a little bit. Because when you do like really tight-fitting outfits, you've got to really understand anatomy a lot more because you're going to be showing the muscle groups. But with Mizu, the good thing is most of her outfit here is actually quite baggy on her, which works very much in my favour. Hips will sort of be twisted there. Knee come down like this. Yep, sort of here. And then I think sort of on the ball of the foot maybe. I think if anything this could come over a bit more. I think Mizu's thigh needs to stretch out a bit more. There we go. Of course trousers are baggy, so they're going to sort of stick out like this. And then sort of these get in there. And then the shoes will sort of fit in like that. Cool, okay. We'll go with that. And we'll get a rough idea and then we'll see how things go in a minute. If not, I'll use a reference just in case. What would you prefer to see more about Mizu? Her past in terms of Violet's killing, or if she had revealed that she was a woman, would there be different choices with Taigen? Interesting. What would I have rather seen? I would have wanted her to reveal to somebody that she was a woman. I would have just wanted to see the shot. It's the only thing about Blue Eye Samurai that I really felt it lacked, was I wanted to see someone shocked to see that she was a woman. I would have just wanted somehow. I mean, I know we got it with Ringo, but because that happened so early in season 1, and he was a character that you never really saw. How do I put this? There was never a tension with Ringo. There was on Ringo's part, so that she didn't like him and she threatened him. But Taigen, Akemi, Swordfather, those would have been really interesting characters, I think, to reveal that she was a woman to. And I think it would have been really, really cool to do so. So yeah, that I would have. Out of choice, I would have wanted her to reveal that she was a woman. Taigen, what would he have done? Would he have liked that or not liked that? See, it's difficult to. I think he would have been okay with that, to be honest. I think he would have probably responded quite well, actually, to knowing that Mizu was a woman, Maybe he would almost care about her more than thinking that she's a man. You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, I think that would have been interesting, and that's what I would have wanted to see. I want to see the backstory with Violet, but I've got a feeling that's coming in season 2. I've got a feeling season 2, episode 1 will be a flashback. I don't think we'll get it all just yet. I think on the journey to London, and I'll talk about why I think she's going to London, and she's not going to stay in Japan. I think that'd be really interesting is they cut between, because we know they like the idea of a flashback. I think they will cut between her travelling and maybe having conversations with Fowler, him talking about Violet, and then it will go back to her, you know, cut back to the past where she's, that whole expedition that she did, clearly, to get rid of Violet. Yeah, and she'll obviously be interrogating him for more information about the other two, I imagine. Talk about your feelings on the relationship between Swordfather and Mizu. My most favourite dialogue happens between the two, especially on the cliff. Yeah, see, I like the cliff. I like it a lot, but I really like that bit where there's another sort of unspoken bit where they don't say a word to each other, but he gives her, I can never remember what it's called, but the thing he uses to make the noise, and he gives that to Mizu and she puts it in the fire. And she's sort of using things from other people to like maybe possibly rebuild a sword. She's sort of melting everything down so it all becomes one. That's a really good bit of non-verbal dialogue, if you could look at it that way. And then, yeah, I think I would have wanted her to say something to Swordfather. I've touched upon that in the last question. I would have wanted her to say something to Swordfather, I think. There's a theory I know that someone's saying is Swordfather Mizu's actual father. I don't know about that one, personally. I don't think so. It could be, but I don't think so. But I would have wanted her to say to him, I'm not just a demon. I'm not just an Onryo. Like, I am a woman or something. Because I think he would have... I think he would have acted very differently around her. Although is there, again, is it this thing of maybe he knows somehow? I don't know. Maybe did he know all along but he just kept that to himself? He knew as a child, teenager, young adult and adult. Would he have almost sensed puberty at a different time for her? I don't know. If he's been with her all that time, would he have almost had a bit of an idea that she was a woman? I don't know. Or did Mizu just, keep that completely guarded and covered as well? I hope even if we don't see Swordfather or Ringo again in, like, she doesn't stay in Japan, I would like to see flashbacks again with Swordfather. I'd like to see some more there. But whether they'll move on to a different area, I'm not sure. Okay, let's carry on with this drawing just for a bit, while I've got some ideas fresh in my mind. And then I almost want her to be wearing these sort of like pantaloon things again, but maybe slightly baggier. So sort of something more here. Something that almost probably in our time looks like lounge pants, but something sort of more, see what I mean? Like, I like the idea maybe they're out in the cold rain and she's sort of wearing these long trousers and maybe they're dragging along the floor. The foot's going to be off the ground, I think, on the front foot to make it sort of almost look like she's lunging forward, but the back foot is going to be down more. Yeah, somewhere like that. Almost like she hasn't quite got her stance ready yet, and then that shows the mirroring between adult Mizu and young Mizu. I think that'll work quite well. Yeah, sort of the hands again, not really got good placement on the sword, so she's kind of just struggling with it a little bit. And then the sword is going to come down like that. Slightly smaller sword as well, I think. Although a big sword might be quite cute, so maybe I do make it the same size as Mizu's. Yeah, something maybe like the fence that was in the background before. Just sort of really kind of, this is going to be like blocked out quite a lot, but just to give a little bit of definition in the background maybe. I think I'll move it back a bit as well, so it's further away from them to create a little bit more depth. And then the sort of the shape of the forest in the background, but really sort of loosely. I want that almost to be like, you have to sort of squint to see it. And I think nighttime, maybe even the moon. Maybe I do just blue light over the top of them actually. So maybe I just take the idea of the moon, obviously for the feminine. So I'll just put that sort of in there somewhere. And then obviously the shadows will be coming forward like this, which I think could be quite cool. Or maybe actually the shadows come more forward to give a bit of depth. Somewhere in there. Yeah, I like this. Okie dokie. Right. Let's stall a little bit. Let's do a couple of questions first. Oh, this is good. I know you love trees, greenery and gardens. There were so many great landscape shots in Blue Eye Samurai. If you were to choose one frame from the series to be your desktop wallpaper, which would it be? It's this one. It's the one of the mountain when they're on horseback. Oh, that's quite a good bit as well. There's also a bit I like, where is the peach tree when she's with Mikio, sorry, not Mizu. I'm looking at the word Mizu and I'm confusing it, sorry. Yeah, or actually, this not is just because Mizu is naked in this shot, it's all the hot springs actually. The waterfall is actually really, really beautiful. Honestly, the entire thing is like a painting that moves. It's stunning, isn't it? Fowler's castle is also pretty cool, that long shot with the moon out. And then she kicks the grate in, like where the well is. And it's just her silhouette with the moon behind her. That's also pretty good. There's way too many. I'd say the waterfall actually, especially the blue tones. Maybe I should do more water in this shot actually. I added the rain to this. You can pause it on any moment. It looks like a painting, you know. It's amazing, but really good question. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for that. I love your reaction to Blue Eye Samurai. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how the show writes men and women compared to Arcane. How do they write men and women compared to Arcane? The truth is, I mean, this is a bit of a cop-out of an answer, but the truth is they don't really write men and women. They just write, like Mizu. You could completely change one element about Mizu's story and say it's a male character who is biracial and has blue eyes and is out on revenge because of the element of the blue eyes and being biracial, and they want to kill the people that did this to them. It would still work. It would still be an amazing show. The fact they made it a woman is really awesome because it's just an amazing female protagonist that doesn't feel particularly forced. It's just interesting either way. Or you could do it in a different way. You could actually get rid of the blue eye element and continue on that story and just tweak everything slightly and it would still be interesting. Do you know what I mean? It's just a well-rounded character. Yeah, it's the fact she's got blue eyes and she's a samurai and she's on this mission, But at the same time, it's still just really well done and well articulated. There's not these rambling monologues where she's talking about being a woman. She never talks about being a woman. She hints at it. There's the bit with Madame Kaji when Madame Kaji is trying to talk to her about sex being an art, and she goes like, sex, and you can see there's something there, and then you later find out, well, she probably would have first had sex with who was her husband. And the way that all ended, she probably resents sex because of what that then meant to her. You didn't need dialogue about that. You didn't need a monologue. The way it's articulated with the puppet show versus the flashbacks is beautiful. You know, you wouldn't have needed any dialogue. So I think in terms of how do they write male and female characters, is they write complex characters that explain themselves. They don't need to do so much dialogue to keep explaining each other. There's not a moment where Taigen needs to talk about himself as a man. You know, he talks about his father and the fishing village, and he said, I either became a samurai or I became my father, and I chose to become a samurai. But you don't need any more than that. You don't need to discuss the difficulties between men and women. You just write interesting characters that have all got their own problems and their own difficulties. Arcane did the same. It's like, I think we discussed this previously in the last Q&A, is with Arcane, you never needed to discuss the homosexuality element. You didn't need bigotry in this world, because it's already so complex and there's an amazing story. You didn't need to add an element of people not liking Vi and Caitlin because of bigotry. You just had a beautiful love story. You had beautiful story in other ways. You had the complexes between relationship in all different characters. You didn't need to delve into things of what is family, what is love. You didn't need that because it's all within the characters themselves. Basically, both shows show rather than tell. And I think that's something that people need to take note of, because it's so much better when a show lets you do the thinking as opposed to talks to you like you're 5. And I think that's the main thing I noticed, at least, between the two. I hope that makes sense anyway. I hope that's answered your question. Right, let me do a little bit of line work so we can keep this moving. Keep it Mizu-ing, as I should say. So I'm just basically gonna like start filling in some shapes. And again, this is gonna be like my interpretation, because I'm not gonna be the greatest at this in terms of getting something that would look like it's a still from the show. Also just want to pull up a picture of Mizu just as a reference while I'm here. I went and looked at landscapes and then I got lost. And the truth is, when I'm recording a video and stuff, my art it's almost like I want it to be almost like a colouring in. I don't want it to be too detailed, because otherwise it's hard to do both. I love Mizu's hair. I was trying to work out whose hair do I prefer? Vi, Caitlin's, or Mizu's. If I was to have one of their like hairs, like if I was to pick a character and I had to style my hair or cut my hair like a character. Vi, I adore Vi's hair, but I know there is no chance I'd pull off Vi's hair. Caitlin, maybe, but I think Mizu. I think I would actually pick Mizu's hair. If I had to pick a character's hairstyles, and I had to style myself like a character, I think it would be Mizu. I know that wasn't in the Q&A questions, but I thought I'd answer it anyway. I'm going to get the face out the way, and just go with what I've got here, and then that way I can, like I say, just make sure I can focus on the questions as well and then not neglect those. Make sure her eye here is actually looking down. Yep, nose actually is a little bit straighter than how I originally sketched it. Sort of like that. And then Mizu has sort of got these, similar to Caitlin, sort of pursed lips. And then I'll do the rest of that shading in a bit. Mizu also has sort of limbal rings. Limbal rings are dark rings that go around the iris. I've got them myself. And it's quite nice when you draw people with limbal rings, because you can like frame the eye a lot better. I'm not a big fan of how I've done Mizu's left eye though. Problem is, when you're recording a video, you want to do like a piece of artwork that you're going to be really proud of, and the truth is just sometimes you might not be. Why do I hate that left eye so much? It's because when the reference I took it from, you can't see her eye that well from behind the glasses. So let me just freehand this a little bit. Very, very pixelated, so sorry, because I'm working on such a big canvas. Just clear this up a little bit. And then I want her smiling a bit more, because we didn't see her smiling enough. So the face is the main thing. If I get the face right, it will actually look like Mizu. If I don't, it's going to look weird because you're not going to see, there's a reason I've done the child facing the other way. There we go, that looks enough like Mizu. I'm happy with that for now. Now that Mizu is moving abroad on her quest, while everyone else is still in Japan, i.e. Akemi, Taigen, Ringo, how do you think the show will handle the distance? Do you think it will jump cut between them or focus alternating episodes on different characters? Or just follow Mizu? I think it's going to follow Mizu. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we'll see Taigen again. We'll see Taigen again. But I don't know if we're going to see Ringo or Swordfather unless it's in a flashback, or it may cut back to them. And maybe Ringo's guilt, thinking like, oh, Mizu could be dead, I'm going to go after him. Maybe he will go and find her. We know he's gone to find her before, because we know he turned up at Valda's castle. She'll probably cross paths with Akemi. Can you imagine if Akemi, because of where she is now in terms of like almost the royalty element of her, she ends up taking a trip, and that's where they bump into each other again. I really do hope, because I like those characters a lot. I really, really hope it continues with them and it's not just focused on Mizu. In one way, I can see it being that way. Is it now just is about Mizu's story, and we don't see any of them again until maybe we see Ty again show up in London or something like that. But I hope it jumps a little bit. Like I say, I hope there's flashbacks or something else, just so we can see those characters again or see what they're thinking and feeling about Mizu. That would be, yeah, I think that would be the best way of doing it, really. When I read up on things, they said that season 2 would be next year. Do you think it will be mainly in London, or will we see Mizu in Japan again? So, I'm not quite sure as to when this video is going out, but I've done a reaction to a cast interview, like the directors and the creators of the show. One of them said that obviously now that she's going to London, so he makes it very clear that she's going. I don't know if you're going to see her again in Japan. You may do. I think it would be a case of a time jump. So again, we don't know if the next season is going to take place over like a year, or is it going to take place over 5 years again? Are we going to see flashbacks, like I mentioned before, to her killing Violet? My own theory, and I mentioned this in that video, I wonder if she's going to end up somewhere else. I think on her travels, she's obviously going to have to stop in different harbours and things because she's on a boat. I think you might see her in other areas, maybe in North Africa, Europe. Depends, right? Depends how that ends up. I think you're going to see her in different places other than just London. And I think if she goes to England, the elites, the people that she's after, are not going to be based just in the capital. They would have their own properties and stuff outside of London. So I think you're going to see maybe different areas of England, which would be amazing because obviously I'm from England. I'd love to see how my country is portrayed in that style. Okay, so I need to do Mizu's outfits. It makes me laugh as well that she's wearing Taigen's scarf. You don't wear the scarf of a man that like sworn to kill you. That's not just an honour thing. That's far more than that. I'm not having that. Okay, so I want Mizu's sort of neck piece here to sort of be like this. And like I said, I'm doing my best with this. This isn't usually the style that I do or have been working on of lately, so just bear with me. Sort of put a knot there. And then I sort of want something like that. I think this bit needs to just go up a bit more around Mizu's chin. Sort of more around there. Yeah, I mean, that looks enough like her, that's fine. I'm not going to be able to like perfectly match her outfit, if I'm being honest. I'm going to kind of do my own interpretation of that in terms of like just a little bit more fluidity when creating. It just makes it all a little bit more fun to not try and match anything like too perfectly, especially whilst trying to answer questions about the show. So glad that you guys enjoyed Blue Eye Samurai anyway, because obviously it's an amazing show and I sort of hoped people would do, but just knowing it was so well received by you guys, as it was the first thing I moved on to after Arcane, was just really cool. Just knowing full well that you guys did enjoy it, and I just wanted to do it justice, really. Like, once I watched the first episode, I was actually quite nervous because I was like, I really, really hope that this video does well. Yeah, let's put this like that. I think it's just sort of got some creases that will come through like this. Let's put this sort of like that. Arm be coming back like this. And then I think we're gonna... Oh yeah, her sleeves are quite baggy. Yeah, she does actually wear slightly different outfits. It's probably the same coat, but she sometimes tucks it in almost into like a glove. Because when she's, I'm just looking at here, when she's fighting with Taigen in episode 1, she's not wearing those. You know, she has like the glove pulled over the middle finger. She's not wearing those. Her sleeve maybe needs to be tucked in. Maybe I'll just do it tight actually for a second. Let me just try this. Because if I'm going by the motion that she would be pulling here with a sword, I actually need to keep this down a bit. That looks about right to me. And then we're going to sort of bring this down, sort of bellowing over the top like that. And sort of there. This would be sort of wrapped around. I think I'm just going to use the liquefy tool. Her waist is a bit smaller. I've made her waist a little bit too big here. There's like a sweeping motion from there. Sort of, yeah, need to make this look like it's wrapping around her a little bit more. A bit more of a twist in the material, I think. This is my first time drawing this. Like I said, I'd only sketched this before, so this needs to come up a little bit. I think that's the problem. That needs to come down. There's something about this I don't like, but it could just be, at the moment we're only seeing part of it. So let me continue, and then we can fine tweak in a minute. I'm just going to make this stick out a little bit more over the edge like that. So I think just creating that there, and maybe that's sticking out there, a little bit of motion. Yep. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I think I'm comparing it too much to the reference I've got in front of me. I just need to kind of go with what I've got, I think, for this. I was initially as well, my other idea that I had instead was to draw Mizu in like English 1600s garments, because it was almost like an ode to season 2. But maybe if I'm still doing YouTube at that point, which I hope it will be, I'll do that when season 2 comes out. I kind of like this, but the only issue with it is where I've done this, it doesn't quite work with the shapes. I need to make the lines move more that way to show her arm is sort of going more behind than forward. So I think this would be a bit better for her. Yeah, it's a bit better. And then these lines coming across like that. Right, I've got this little bit sticking out of the front. Now this is where I think I'm going to add a little bit of movement to make this all look a little bit better. I'm going to bring one down like that. And then I'm going to sort of do that. Something like that. Just see how this is going along. Yeah, like I say, it's interpretation. It's interpretation. don't look at it too close. What was your favourite aspect of Mizu's character / the way she is written as a complex and flawed protagonist? What episode of season 1 would you consider your favourite? And what do you want to see more of in season 2? Okay, first aspect of Mizu's character is she's very stoic. She doesn't say a lot. She's another character that sort of shows rather than tells. I like that because I think probably because I sound very talkative in these videos, but the truth is the reason I'm so talkative is because I don't really talk to anyone. Like, I made that sound really sad. I'm just very introverted, and even when I'm like working from home and stuff, I don't really talk to too many people all day long. So I really respond well to introverted characters, but I think that's why I liked Caitlin and Victor in Arcane, is they are the quietest. They're all quite quiet in Arcane, to be honest. There's no one particularly too loud other than Ambessa and Jinx. Isha is the quietest, though, to be fair. And Deb. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. I really liked how she's very stuck on this revenge story, but at the same time, I get it. This is why I said there's so many similarities between her and Caitlin, because they are just both so stuck as people. I'd say my favourite aspect of Mizu's character is that she is so quiet and stoic, and you sort of don't really know what's going to come next. She's very unpredictable in many ways, and I like that. And I would say, what episode of season 1 would you consider your favourite? Honestly, I really like 105. I know that's like the fan favourite as well, is when you see Mizu's past and her husband and stuff. I do really like that, but I feel like that's too much of a cop-out of an answer. I really liked episode 7. Not just because of her painting herself and all that kind of thing. Not just that. The build-up to the finale was very, very well done. This thing of she's needing to change so that she can go through and face this. And it's perfectly placed between, I'd say, one of my other favourite episodes, which is Fowler's Castle episode, where she's trying to get to him. Some people say it's really stupid because she's like a superhero and it's almost like she's supernatural. I love the finale and I love 105 as well, but yeah, I'd say in terms of, it's easier for me to go based on scenes. What scenes do I love? Maybe I'll have to do a tier list ranking the scenes. Maybe I'll get a screenshot of every scene from Blue Eye Samurai and I'll show you which ones I love more than others. Yeah, that 106 where she tries to get to Fowler, she gets to the end and she realises she can't do this alone, so she goes. and she realised she's got to face who she is. The sword is broken, so she is broken. And then it's that whole pathway getting ready for the finale, where she realises that Fowler's more useful to her alive than dead. I like it. It's a great transitional episode for me. So I would say 107. I honestly love, there's elements of all of them I love. I love the archery scene as well in 102. I'd say actually 102 is in my top 5. There's only 8 episodes, but you know what I mean. But then the first episode is amazing. For a first episode of a TV show, it's amazing. So yeah, I'd say any of them, but 107 for me is my favourite. Yeah, I'd say that. Okay, before my brain turns to mush, let me try and do her like pantaloons. See, these are quite good because I can just kind of wing this a little bit. I don't have to do anything too specific. It sort of tucks in, but maybe I do like a bit of an overhang instead. Maybe I sort of, yeah, maybe I do this. Because they kind of droop. I'm realising as well, I'm adding a lot of lines. The actual show itself doesn't. It's actually quite blocky. There's not actually a lot of detail, it's more lighting and shadow and stuff. So I'm actually just going to leave the lines and kind of just focus more on this. I'm going to make sure these are really, really drooped down. Then I've got less anatomy to draw. Yeah. I'm working on another video at the moment. I'm actually really nervous for it. I'm enjoying it, but it's taking a little while to film. It's a creative vid. Possibly something one of you have asked for before. But it's taking a while to do. And it's also quite nerve-wracking because it's something you haven't really seen before, so yeah, but it'll be ready when it's ready. Don't wait up. I'll just let you know. If you'll see a post and you'll know exactly the video that I'm talking about. Okay, so we're gonna kind of have this sort of drooping down in terms of her legs. I'm gonna have like her ankles sort of sticking out like that. As you can see, it's been a long time since I've done this style. The style I've been mainly working on is that other cartoony style. Sort of, these are like bandaged around her legs as well. I didn't realise she had that. Yeah, it goes all the way up to sort of here where she's got these like long johns on. There's a comment here saying, have you started dressing like any of your favourite characters? No, I haven't, although I can see it happening. I wouldn't look nowhere near as cool, but no, I can for sure see me. I mean, Mizu, I tend to wear a lot of black and blue, so I kind of am dressing a bit like Mizu. Glasses, already got them. I'd say out of like Caitlin, Vi, Mel, or Mizu, or Cassandra, whose outfits would I be more likely to wear? Actually, probably Cassandra. It would probably be Mizu, then Cassandra. Oh no, Caitlin actually. Caitlin, because the fight outfit, the red fight outfit, I'd probably be close to wearing something like that actually. So yeah, but I'd probably say Mizu I dress the most similar to. But maybe I just need to up my Mizu essence a little bit more. She's got these like sort of socks on. Forgive me, I don't know the right name, but quite cool actually, those shoes. And then sort of wrap around like this. I think we're good. I think we're okay. Plus I'm going to make everything very dark and dingy, and you're going to just see highlights of stuff. That's going to make it better. And then I can make myself look better than I am. Oh, if you could have one character from Arcane cross over into Blue Eye Samurai or vice versa, who's your pick? Someone's put, come on, you know very well who it would be. It would be Caitlin. It would indeed. Caitlin, I think, would fit in quite well. Although, would she? Because she's an Onryo, apparently, according to them. So, would you? No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't go outside, probably. She'd probably be desperate to get outside and get up to some trouble, knowing Caitlin. Who else would fit in quite well? Tobias. Who else could fit in well in the Blue Eye Samurai universe? God, can you imagine Jinx? Can you imagine Jinx? She'd start war, I think. Yeah, Jinx in the Blue Eye Samurai universe, I can't see that one working well. Vi wouldn't work well in this universe. There isn't actually many in Arcane that would, to be honest, let's be honest. There's not that many in Arcane that would do well in this universe. And it's not just because it's so obvious, I just actually can't see anyone else doing well other than Caitlin. I feel like Caitlin would learn how to blend in. I don't think anyone else would. I mean, can you imagine Silco? Steb doesn't stand a chance. Okay, I've done this a little bit wrong on that side. I've made her foot a little bit too big, but we're just going to use the liquefy tool. So, not too big, sorry, too small. And I'm just going to stretch her leg out a little bit. You know, I actually quite like this. It's actually coming together quite nicely. And also when it's coloured in, it will make it all a little bit better, I think. And then her sword. That's what I need to look up. Mizu's sword. What does the top of her sword look like? So it's almost got like just a little rim. Sort of like that-ish. Sort of there. Yeah. So no, it's Mizu. I will do those little gloves going over the top. I quite like the idea of being able to see that it's her just by the hands. Recently, like before I went live, a video went out as a compilation vid. Oh, it's performing really. Oh my god, a compilation. Sorry to distract from the Blue Eye Samurai stuff. I've done an arcane compilation. It's performing really well. Oh, lovely surprise. There's so many people with capitals, and people just typing all in capitals in the comments. Oh, that's cute. I do love seeing comments from you lot, you know. Cool. Okay, I mean, I quite like this. It's not perfect, but it's never going to be. That's the main thing, as long as we're having fun. Remember at school, people used to go, did you enjoy participating? No, not really. Teachers used to try and make you feel better, and they'd be like, did you have fun? No. No, I didn't. Did anyone else used to have to get like signed up for like cross-country runs just because they happened to be good at sport? Anyone else? On a Friday afternoon in the middle of November having to go and do cross-country. For some reason they was like, oh, you like playing football? Oh, so you could run a cross-country? No. Why have you signed me up? I feel like I'm going to do like a more very dainty sort of feminine hand on Mizu on this side. I don't know why. I like the idea that she's sort of like that. Done her finger way too thin. Hang on, Mizu, hang on a sec, babe, hang on. There you go. Sort of, yeah. Sort of, yeah. And then, I think this is actually probably the best hand I've ever done. Just off the cuff, actually. Yeah, that's actually quite good. We'll go with that. I've never done a hand that well first try in my life. And then that sort of glove comes over the top. I do like Mizu's gloves, actually. Like, not the gloves, I don't know what they're called, but the things that like holds her shirt down, the thing that goes over her middle finger. It's really cool. One of the lines in Blue Eye Samurai is the exploration and disclosure of one's sexuality. Would you like to see this exploration continued in season 2, for example, from the sapphic side? Maybe some London noblewomen will fall in love with Mizu, thinking Mizu is a man. Oh, that's an interesting plot line. I can see it, because we got, not a hint of it, but we got, when she was outside of the brothel, and the two women obviously they're just trying to get her in there so that she pays, you know, and uses them. But yeah, there's that element of, you see a hint of it, right? Where they're trying to get her to go in the brothel and she's like, oh, I mean, she's like uncomfortable with it. I don't think we see a sapphic side to Mizu. Would we see an element of bisexuality in Mizu? I don't know. Is that, I mean, taigen, I think we're more likely to see an element of that there. I think we've already seen it, to be honest with you. Poor guy got so excited. Can I see Mizu in a sapphic way? Honestly, not really, and that's not to say I wouldn't want to. I'd be more than happy if it did, but I can't see her in a sapphic context. I can see her more in a heterosexual context, and I don't know if that's what's more needed for the show, is that she is a woman portraying herself as a man, and a man falls in love with that and accepts her for who she is. The whole situation with her husband, I'd like that again, but to play out well. Does that make sense? That's what I'd rather than a sapphic side. If Mizu wants to have some fun while she's in London, I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. Mizu can do whatever she wants. I like that question though. I can see it, because we do see this element of samurai leaning more towards bisexuality within that context in history. So, is Mizu going to go down that pathway? Maybe. Maybe. Oh my god, Yana has so many questions, this cracks me up. Okay. If you had to survive in the Edo period for a week, what's the first thing you'd do? Hide. That's the first thing I'd do. I'd cut my hair, and I'd put on the baggiest clothes possible and I'd hide. If Blue Eye Samurai had a blooper reel, which scene do you think would be the funniest to mess up? Oh, I'd love something, because you know like Pixar movies used to do with like Toy Story and stuff and Bug's Life, they've got like bloopers. Oh, I'd love that, because it would just, you know what, a blooper reel for this show would be so funny. Because it would just, imagine at the end of every episode, like, you've seen Mizu chop someone's arm off and then it cuts to the next, like, the credits. It just cuts to, like, bloopers of that show. That'd be so funny. What would I want to see? Oh, I'd love to see. You know the scene where her and Taigen are like rolling around on the floor. The first one with the outside, and Ringo's there, and he's like, "What do I do?" I would have loved like a blooper of that, to see Taigen and Mizu laughing together and Ringo laughing in the background. Yeah, that'd be really cute. You know when he used to donk her on the head, the sword father used to hit her on the head. Imagine he sort of like she bursts out laughing because he hits her too hard, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," like something like that would be really funny. Or oh, see, you've got my mind going now. You know, it'd be really funny if Mizu, or like say Mizu was being played by an actress or something, right? Like an animated actress, and she's really clumsy, and so she can't do what Mizu can do. She like where the bit where she pushes the table back in the beginning, and she pushes the table, and she pushes over the soup, and it goes everywhere, and they go, "Cut! Everybody back to your marks, like do it again." That would be really cool, actually. I would love something like that. It would completely kill the mood, but I would love something like that. On a scale from mildly impressed to fully on obsessed, how much do you want to learn sword fighting after watching this? Fully on obsessed. I've read that as fully on, full on is what I meant to say. Okay, so I'm going to carry on drawing while I'm talking because there's something that relates to this. I'm really tempted to get into cosplay, not in like a, not, how do I put this? I don't want to dress up as Mizu, Vi, or Caitlyn. I want to dress up like I'm in Arcane or Blue Eye Samurai. Like I want to immerse myself in that world and make my own outfits like I was in. So if I was in Piltover, how would I dress? And I want to make my own outfits. Sort of Mizu style outfit, but for me. Like maybe like brown, chocolate brown and green tones because I've got like hazel eyes. That would be really cool. But yes, I do want to take on sword fighting like now. That and like rock climbing. The scene where she's climbing up the thing with Taigen on her back kind of made me want to learn how to rock climb, if I'm honest with you. And the end of Mizu's sword is, yeah, it's like pointy, but not, it's like pointy, but slightly square at the end, from what I can tell. It's, yeah, it's almost like that. With the sort of the wave pattern as well, which is just really cool. Yeah, let's just get this bit down. Quite like it though, it's actually coming along quite well. And then we just got to do the handle. The handle doesn't stick out too much. It doesn't really do what I originally thought it did with the drawing. So it just sort of goes to there, that's fine. Nice and simple. Saves me time, that's the main thing. And I think Mizu's sword is a bit longer. So I'm just going to use the liquefy tool to kind of drag this out a little bit. And maybe down, maybe thicken it up a little bit. Yeah. But that's kind of perfect. I've done something else quite right today. This is good. This is going remarkably well. Am I recording? Yeah. Can you imagine? If I looked down, I wasn't recording. Actually, there's only one thing I don't quite like about the sword. It's this handle. I've just kind of got it sticking out of the wrong angle, so I'm just going to turn it and move it into the right place. Yeah, sort of. It would curve around more like that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Mizu. Stay exactly where you are, babe. Not like you can move, because you're a drawing, but you know what I mean. No, I'm super proud of myself. Right. Okay, that's Mizu done. So the hardest part is done. Now it's the fun bit. Now we can just crack on with young baby Mizu, or however you want to look at it, and the background, and then we'll work on the painting and the colour in another episode. Another question from Yana. Imagine you wake up tomorrow with the skills of Mizu. Okay. What's the first thing you do? Besides accidentally cutting your toast in perfect sashimi slices. What's the first thing I do? Honestly, it's rock climb. It would be climb up something. If I had the upper body strength of Mizu. Or that thing where she does a handstand but on one arm. Yeah, that probably. Which character do you think would make the worst modern day influencer and why? These are really good, by the way. I like questions like these. I like silly ones. What character do you think would make the worst? Oh, can you imagine Taigen? Taigen with like public attention would be insufferable. Ringo would be the best. Taigen would become Jake Paul. I'm not kidding. If Taigen got attention, he would be like a mess. And if Blue Eye Samurai had a crossover episode with another Netflix show, which one would it be? Arcane. I didn't see that bit. You put if Blue Eye Samurai had a crossover episode with another Netflix show, which one would it be and why is it Arcane? I mean, a universe where Caitlyn and Mizu meet is amazing. I think Mizu and Vi would get along quite well, and I don't mean that in like a weird way. I don't mean like they'd be hitting on each other kind of way. I think they'd get along really well, and I think Mizu would actually feel close to a woman and be able to open up to her. I would want Mizu in Arcane, not the girls from Arcane in Blue Eye Samurai, because they'd be dead. They'd be killed off very, very quickly. So I would say I want Mizu to appear in Arcane. Mizu in Ionia would seem to fit, from what I know. Although Mizu walking into Piltover would be Oh, I've got to do Mizu in a Piltover outfit, haven't I? Oh, no. Oh, I've got to do that. And what was the single most what moment of the entire show? It's the two obvious ones for me. It's the first one where she turns around and thinks Ringo is a threat, and she's absolutely stark as naked. That was a shock. And then the other one is her painting herself naked. Just because that bit where she walks up to Ringo and asks him to basically do the back because she can't reach. That's kind of mental to me. But I love it. It's great. And it's not just there's not an element of nudity. It's just I think visually, I think maybe because of the blue and the orange is the sort of the red fire of that 107 to the initial beginning where everything's very blue in the first episode. Everything's very, very blue. Everything gets more orange as you go to the end towards the fire. I don't know if you've noticed that, but more warmer tones come in to the end of the series. And in the beginning, everything, because it's in the winter, whereas it goes into the spring and then probably into the summer. So there's more lighter tones and it all becomes more orange. Or actually, no, technically it'd be finding out Mizu as a husband. Or the bit where she kills the girl. That's actually a bit of like a, huh? Or when she sees her mother again. I don't know, all of them. There's one in every episode, to be honest with you. Finally, the most important question from me is, would you rather fight Mizu in a duel or have to explain Wi-Fi to a samurai from the 1600s? I would rather have to explain Wi-Fi. I don't want to go up against Mizu in a duel. I'd honestly... I wouldn't last. And the thing is, I'm so squeamish, I wouldn't be able to do anything to her in the duel. One, because I care about her too much. Two, I'd throw up. So yeah, it would be teach her Wi-Fi, because I think she'd get it. Anyway, right, let's get to drawing young Mizu before I run out of time, because this has taken an hour and a half. Okie dokie. I'm gonna sort of put her hair in like a little sort of ponytail kind of thing. Yeah, and then these sort of like the way her bangs sort of come forward like this. Something more here. Let's leave that there for a minute. Yeah. Also very helpful with this, I've drawn this sort of baby Mizu, also in like a very loose kind of garment, so that helps a lot. Now that Mizu's done, if you noticed, I've relaxed into this a lot more. Once I had Mizu's face done, I kind of relaxed a little bit, and now that I've got her body done, I'm like, good, okay, we're fine. I'm going to make these even baggier, because originally when I drew them earlier, I wasn't really planning to do Mizu's quite so baggy, but now that they are, I'm going to do that to match Mizu. Yeah. See what I mean? Cute. Little tiny one. Aww. I think I'm going to do her like barefoot, because I think she's originally training barefoot in the first bit of the show. This is the point where I usually forget how to draw feet, knowing my luck. I think I leave a little bit of white space there, and I think that will kind of give more of a shadow illusion to that, so I'm going to put that like that. Doesn't really look like a foot, but from it just is going to cover in the shadow of her trousers. Cute. Really cute. Little baby Mizu. God, can you imagine if Mizu has a baby in season 2? Don't. Because I know what they'll do. They'll make her lose a child, and I can't do that. Oh, look at little tiny hands. So all I'm going to do is just rotate this very, very slightly. So it's like that. Yep. It's fine. And then this other hand is going to sort of come in like this. Yep. Do I do a sword the same size as Mizu? That'd be quite cute. Maybe I do a little sword. Or maybe I give her a broken one. Do I give her a broken sword? Like it's one that Mizu broke and then she's given it to her. Maybe I do that. Yeah, like that. And then I'm going to bring the sword up here. Yeah, I think I'll do like a sort of really broken sword. Like that. It doesn't matter if this is slightly off for a sec, because I'm gonna sharpen this up. Not the sword, the lines. Make that a little bit smaller maybe. Yeah. Oh, God, it's so cute. Who would I want Mizu to end up with? Taigen. I would want her to end up with Taigen. Although her ending up with Akemi could be an interesting twist, to be honest. But no, Taigen. To be honest with you, I'd like a man to treat her nicely. I feel like Akemi would, but I want to see if Taigen would treat her nicely, and that's what I want it to be him. Oh, look at that, lads. Coming together nicely, huh? I like the fact she's almost flinging herself at her. That's really cute. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the whole love triangle between Mizu, Taigen and Akemi, especially because of the fact that they both think Mizu is a man. And what do you think would happen if they both realise that she's a woman? I don't think Akemi and Mizu would ever end up together, although, like I said, I could be wrong. I think it's more a likelihood that Taigen and Mizu pair up. I don't think Taigen and Akemi are going to, because I think Akemi's made other plans. But I quite like the love triangle. It's very interesting because you see them first meet, technically. They're all in the same place when Akemi's being carried across the bridge in episode 1 and she makes eye contact with Mizu. If Mizu was to tell Akemi, I think they'd both really soften. I think they'd both really soften and be nice to her. I think they'd both actually be quite good to her. I think if both of them knew, they'd be very gentle with her. I don't think... Actually, Taigen's ego might get in the way, actually. He might do the same thing that her husband did. But I think Akemi would be gentle with her. I think Taigen would come around to things. Although it'd be a wonderful plot twist if he didn't. If he just was like, okay, you're a woman, that's fine. Like, and he was just fine with it completely. Like, that'd be interesting, I think. Okay, this is really cute. I'm really proud of this. Genuinely, I'm really, really proud. Just going to do some lines in Mizu's hair. I wasn't planning on it originally. I think it would actually add a little bit of texture that I think it's just missing. Obviously we're going to colour this in next episode, and the reason I want to just do this in 2 parts is it just actually takes the pressure off me a little bit in terms of getting this done, but you will see these 2 videos one day after the other. So as you're seeing this, part 2 of this will be coming out tomorrow. Or if you're watching this way later, it will be probably suggested to you at the end of this video. Or if you want to check the sidebar, it will be there. Or you can click no. Just keep giving you options. Maybe something fun. Who do you think makes the best noodle soup? The contestants are Mizu, Akemi, Taigen and Swordfather. And the big guy who picks up Mizu and Taigen for the tea party. Ringo is the judge. Oh, that's funny. It's a weird episode of MasterChef. Master Noodle. Master Noodle. Who would be the best Master Noodle? I don't think Akemi's ever cooked something a day in her life. I feel like Taigen would think he's really good, and he wouldn't be. I think Swordfather would actually probably pull it off. Oh, do you know what? I'd love the big guy. The big guy to be... Oh, I should do a drawing of this as well. I reckon the big guy is secretly, like, amazing at cooking. I don't think Mizu would be very good. We saw what happened with her cooking before. And even if his soup doesn't taste the best, Ringo's so scared of him, he gives him the points. So I would say the big guy. That's my answer for that. Also, while I'm going back to drawing, let me show you how I do shadows usually. So what I do is I take Mizu, for example. So I'll duplicate Mizu, like so. Flip it, like that. And then I basically will line it up like this. But what I'm going to do instead is just go to Distort. And then what you can do is kind of stretch and mess around with the sort of perfection of things a little bit. And I'm going to move this down like that because I want the shadow to come in more here. See? So you can kind of get a pretty decent shadow. You still got to do a little bit of work in terms of going over things and making sure everything's in the right place. But you can get a pretty damn good shadow and not have to do too much work over the top. And I'll do sort of the same perspective here. What you can also do is merge the 2 up so they're definitely like aligned with each other, but I don't really need to do that because as long as it's lined up like this. And I'm going to leave a little gap between Baby Mizu's foot and the shadow here because I want to look like it's coming across off the ground, and then you just line it up like that. And then you've got their shadows on the floor, and what I can then do is merge those 2 shadows together, play around with the distortion as well and kind of work out where I want the shadow to be. So I'm sort of going to go there, and then the moon will be behind them, and then that's sorted. So I can leave that there, and then we can come back to that in a minute once I've done the background. What character arc did you find most compelling and why, except for Mizu? Akemi, probably. Yeah, I'd say Akemi's pretty interesting, isn't it? Well, she's very pretty also as well, but she's on a villain arc a little bit. I quite like it. Some people saying they don't want Akemi to become a bad character. I don't want her to do unspeakable things, but I'm kind of interested to see if she does, if that makes sense. Like, I think it'd be interesting to see if she does go down that path. If you could change one thing about the show, what would it be and why? Like I said earlier, I would have wanted Mizu to tell someone, and someone no other than Ringo, that she is a woman. And I probably would have wanted it to be Akemi because I think Akemi would treat her very, very differently. or Madame Kaji. I would have wanted Madame Kaji to figure out that Mizu's a woman. Maybe she already has, but I would like Madame Kaji to know that she's a woman. Maybe not even tell her, maybe she figures it out somehow. Maybe she already has, because she says, like, you are more man than anyone that's came in here before, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but whatever she says. That would be interesting. What did you think of the voice acting? The cast is actually all Asian and Asian mixed. I didn't know that, except for Kenneth Branagh, who plays Fowler, of course. Blue Eye Samurai voice acting has been a bit controversial, and Mizu's English voice has received some negative reactions. Have you heard the Japanese voiceovers and what are your thoughts? No, I haven't heard the Japanese voiceovers. I'm familiar with people talking about it though, because I saw a Reddit post about it. It's interesting because I didn't feel that way initially. I obviously was just happy that Mizu sounded how she sounded, and I'm okay with it. But it's now interesting, if she does go over to England, now what's going to happen? Because she has more of an English accent, or like an Americanized accent. How's that going to work if everyone in England is talking English? Although, are they just going to amp up the sort of like, all right, governor, they're going to do that sort of very Cockney English if she goes to London and amp that up so that Mizu sounds... I don't know how they're going to play that, to be honest with you, but I can understand why that got maybe a bit of backlash. Is they should have made her sound like someone who has got like a Japanese accent with the English, for obviously English speakers. Like I say, for me, it didn't bother me, but then it's not going to bother me because I myself am English. So hearing her talk in an English accent or / American accent, it wouldn't bother me. But I can see why some other people would feel that way. And knowing she's going to London, dynamically not quite sure how that's going to work in terms of the voice acting. But I have full trust in this show, so I'm sure they'll figure it out. Right, let's just put a little bit of a fence in the back. I was going to use like the drawing assist to make sure I have straight lines, but actually I don't want straight lines. I want these wibbledy-wobbledy. Wibbledy-wobbledy timey-wimey. If anyone gets that reference, you're a G. I'm going to just use a straight line here, but that's fine. Just like the idea of these sort of fence posts in the background like that. I was initially going to do just like a... What are you trying to say, Claude? You're trying to get words out and you're not, babe. Like a black background, that's where I was trying to go with that. I was just going to do more of a black backdrop, but now, no, I'm going to add these little fence posts in. I think it'll be interesting. Blue Eye Samurai isn't entirely realistic, especially in the later fight scenes, yeah. It aligns with other genres of film like Kill Bill and John Wick, yeah. Do you think Blue Eye Samurai's realism compares to something like Arcane? I mean, Arcane isn't always particularly realistic. It always tries to do that, but there's always an element of sort of supernatural ability between them. It's like Jinx's shimmer, you know. She is supernatural if you was to look at it that way, you know. So, because the way she moves so quick, that also doesn't make sense either if you just look at it only in that sense. So, I personally, like I said, I was okay with it. That's why episode 106 really was kind of one of my favourites anyway, because I quite liked the idea of the supernatural with it. I like this idea that she was almost the Onryo, and she was almost like this sort of weird being that could get herself out of any problem. So I quite liked it. However, I can see how other people didn't. But for me, it's of no bother. I actually really like the fact that sometimes you think, how's she going to get out of this? And then you're like, nah, really? There's no way she's just done that. Like, I like that, because I think it actually turns out quite well. But then maybe I'm just simping for Mizu at this point, which is highly likely. Caitlyn or Mizu, who did you fall for faster and who did you fall for harder? Can you say that? English is not my first language. Of course you can always say that. I fell for Mizu faster. Who did I fall for harder? Oh no, Caitlyn's got me in a chokehold, you know. It's actually embarrassing at this point. Mizu, I'll put it this way. Caitlyn, if I met Caitlyn in real life, I'd be absolutely dumbfounded. I wouldn't even know what to say to her. Mizu, I'd also be shocked, but Mizu, I'd be like, Mizu, teach me things. I feel like she'd know things. Caitlyn, I wouldn't actually talk to. I'd be too scared to approach Caitlyn. Whereas Vi, weirdly enough, I wouldn't. I'd actually feel like I could talk to Vi. Caitlyn, I'd be too scared to even talk to her. So, don't know what that tells you about me, but I fell faster for Mizu, fell harder for Caitlyn. But honestly, I'd probably die for either of them, so that should answer everything you need to know. This is coming along wonderfully, you know. I'm really happy with this. It's getting very hot under this lamp, though, if I'm honest with you. This is my normal desk light. I'm not even using my filming light. My head's getting very hot. So, do you think Mizu's husband betrayed her, or was it her mum? Especially after hearing what Fowler said about her mum. See, is Fowler telling the truth? That's the thing we don't know. Is Fowler telling the truth, or is he just lying? I think he could be lying. I think he did, even if he didn't actually like fully rat her out, he dishonoured her. And she had every right at that point to do whatever she wanted to do with him, to be honest. Well, maybe not stick a kitchen knife in his head, but the minute that he was like, you are a monster, you are everything that they say you are, you could tell Mizu was a bit dumbfounded. She didn't really know what to do. So, yeah, I'd say it was him. Because that's the thing as well, like, he took her horse. So she wouldn't even be able to leave if he was a problem to her. So by doing that, that's complete, you know, he dishonoured her. And he kept her in an environment where she was scared because of how he was now going to treat her. And he got rid of her mode of transport. So either way, both are at fault, in my opinion. Both of them were awful in the end. I was actually quite happy she killed them both off because I was like, okay, good, brilliant. I'm just going to add some blades of grass down here. And I can kind of add that in a bit. Mizu is going to London in 1657/1658, right bang in the middle of the rule of Cromwell. See, I don't know enough about Cromwell. I studied the Tudors at school, but I was about 9, maybe 10. So my memory on that area of English history is quite poor, actually. She's in for a lot of shocks, both socially and culturally, yes. Do you think the English will spot she's a woman? They're more likely to than the Japanese, for sure, because they're probably more open to the idea of someone who looks a little bit Caucasian. I don't want to say less, not racist, that's not the right word, but like less dismissive. Maybe they're more open to that. I don't know. I need to know more about that area of English history. Do you think the English will care that she's a woman? Probably. What do you think? Will the English call her some sort of Japanese-related slur? Again, probably someone will, yeah. I imagine they'll include something of that, just to show the sign of the times. What sort of culture shocks? I think she's probably... Wouldn't there be some form of female monarch or females in an element of monarchy that she will probably come across at some point, whether it be... Because if she's travelling, she may stop in Europe. So there's other areas of that time period that she may run into and cross over. She may see sort of the lords and the ladies and the baroness, and she might see a lot more of that side of things, which is going to be so different to Japan. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a few culture shocks. Probably the food as well. She's going to be like, what the fuck is this? Because there's dairy. You know, they don't have dairy in Japan, like Fowler says, so she's going to be like, what is cheese? What on earth is this? Where's the tofu? That's what she's probably going to be surprised by more than anything. Right, I'm going to just sketch a couple more final things in with this drawing. And then once we've got all the sketches down, then tomorrow... or, well, for you tomorrow, I can crack on with the colouring in and making everything a beautiful blue, different shades of blue we're going with. Like almost putting them together in a piece of light. And I'm going to move this over to the middle, put on the magnetics, and go uniform, and then you can snap it into place. Yeah, something like that. I'm going to add the moon in for the background. Lovely stuff. And then we'll just do some trees. Sort of want these just locked into place like this, just so I roughly know where to paint when I come back and do this for you guys tomorrow. Maybe this one in the foreground actually needs to just be a bit taller actually. I think we don't see the top of that one. Yeah, they're like I think it's a type of Japanese pine, or it's a conifer, I'm not quite sure. Just like that. Almost like the trees of the audience. Quite like that. Although knowing Mizu, she's probably trying to hack them down, but anyway. We'll sort of come forward like that. We'll just do a few bushes in the front. So I'm going to wrap this up here. We've finished our sketch. It's all perfectly in place. I'm going to come back tomorrow and fill in all the colour. We're going to add some light, some shading, make things look really, really cool. I think I'm going to do a backlight on the two of them, that sort of moonlight. And yeah, we'll get this piece finished. I will go through the rest of your questions. So I'll work on this for you guys tomorrow. So same time tomorrow, this part 2 will be out. And I will work on colouring everything in. I'm going to go with mainly blue tones. And yeah, and I'll answer the rest of your questions as well. Looking forward to it. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, do give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And I'll see you very, very soon. Take very good care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.